Hello YouTube! Since several people have asked for her, and due to her popularity in my MTGO matchup videos, this week we're going to look at Wort, the Raidmother. Costing 4 colorless and 2 hybrid mana of red or green, Wort the Raidmother is a 3 power, 3 toughness goblin. She doesn't fit the traditional build of Gruul commanders. Unlike many of her red and green counterparts, with a few exceptions like Rasheen, Wort is one of the few, if not only, spellslinger focused generals in her color pairing. But why would we choose her over attacking and stuff like that? Well, what makes her so great is her 2 abilities. Wort's first ability isn't anything special, it's a simple token generating ability. Considering we're paying 6 mana for our general, getting 2 1/1 red-green goblins isn't really that much to put her on the map, but what this ability does is it allows her to use her second ability. Wort's secondary ability reads, for as long as she's on the field, Wort grants all of our red and green spells Conspire, a powerful mechanic from Shadowmoor. Conspire works by allowing a spellcaster, i.e. us, to tap 2 creatures that share a color with the spell to place a copy of the spell in the stack. While not typically the colors to think of for creating a spell-based deck, Wort offers players a unique build that can really pack a punch to unsuspecting opponents. Be warned, like many general-specific decks, Wort the Raidmother relies heavily on her being on the field. Let's check out how the deck plays. Early on, you're going to want to do something ramp, but sorry, you guys know how I feel that EDH is a bit linear in earlier terms. Everyone's always rushing to have the most mana to help establish their board state, but for Wort, not only is ramp crucial, it's tantamount to our winning strategy. Having a 6 mana general isn't easy. If Wort dies even once, we have to reinvest another 8 mana. 8 mana to get her back online, and that's without factoring in the fact that we might want to cast spells on that same turn. To this end, I'd recommend running as much fast mana as you can. Rocks, spells, creatures, whatever your meta allows it, run it. You might want to put an emphasis on spells since you know that's what our deck does, but really just do whatever you can. Essentially, early on, like most decks, don't get greedy, don't make enemies, and you'll be fine. By now, you'll hopefully have cast Wort by this point. A great way to make certain of this is by running something like Caverns of Souls, naming goblins to help make Wort uncounterable. Since the only focus for the deck is to prioritize running spells over anything else, we have tons of options, but one of the most popular ones seems to be running a token sub-theme. Just like your local 2-for-1 pizza place, Wort is all about serving those hot and tasty spells with additional value. Krenko's Command and similar spells already provide nearly point-for-point mana to power creatures, but being able to double them for a reusable cost makes them insane! With only a handful of spells, you can quickly amass a decent-sized army. Mix in something like Parallel Lives and things will really get out of hand quickly. Mid-game is also the perfect time to try and power out one of my favorite spells for the deck, Boundless Realms. You'll most likely be running a decent amount of basics to begin with, seeing as this is a 2-color deck, but if you can resolve Boundless Realms early on, you can essentially quadruple your mana, if not completely empty your library of basics. Do you like X-rated things? Well, turn down the volume, because the next few spells I'm about to talk about are pretty damn dirty. In reality though, if you haven't won, or rather, you don't want to win through something as simple as attacking with tokens, your best venue to kill people is to start dropping X-costing spells and copying them. Copying a huge kicked Comet Storm can lead to some serious damage, either to wipe a board or completely blow out a few players. Similarly, Fireball, a classic spell from Magic the Gathering, can act as a backup copy or redundancy for our deck. If you know your meta is counter heavy already, you should consider Banefire. Pumping it to 5 makes it uncounterable to most things, barring a Timely Events or Shaper Savant. Our copy also gets the added benefit of being uncounterable as well, so that's kinda fun. And if spells aren't enough, remember all those tokens you've been making? Swing with them! They're more than just pretty faces and mana generation. Put those flimsy little 1/1s to work. Now let's look at some suggestions. Wake Up Destruction is a land hate card that I can almost get behind. Traditionally, I don't like denying my opponents completely, but there's something deeply satisfying about blowing up hopefully 2 problematic colors. Black and blue. And you know what's better than doubling a spell? Doubling a doubler to get you a double-double. Ugh, that was awkward. But in all honesty, copying and increasing Inventions, Reiterate, Wild Ricochet, or one of any other red million spell doublers will really get you ahead in the game. Since we're a spell-based deck, we need to have ways to keep those spells safe. Vexing Shusher, Red Elemental Blast, and Pyroblast are great ways to do that and fight against blue spells. Speaking of getting our spells off, Young Pyromancer and Gutter Snipe can just turn your casts up to 11 in terms of power. Giving us more tokens or pinging people for damage, these guys won't trigger off our copies, but even still, why wouldn't you run them? Surprisingly enough, in the early game, all those tokens we're going to be generating are either going to be tapping or sacrificing for mana, rather than just swinging. Earthcraft is a fun card that I've run for years in my Prosh and Animar decks, two decks that run a critical mass of tokens or creatures. Since we'll be dropping a color and upping our basic land count, this should really be at the top of our list of inclusions. Warp World. Oh my god, Warp World. Just once would I love to cast this spell and have it be able to resolve. Normally with our swarms of tokens and massive land base, we'll come out much further ahead than our opponents, but strangely enough, most of people scoop to this resolving, let alone when we resolve 2 copies, and so on and so forth. I wonder why. Well gang, that's my take on the Gruul gal we all love, Wort the Raidmother. Have you played against her or had a chance to pilot her? What's your experience been? Leave me a comment to let me know. I've also changed the style of the video a little bit. I'm focusing less on the early game since a lot of people tend to tell me that basically it's just about ramp and every deck plays it the same, so unless the deck is very different and has a special thing it wants to do early on, I'm just going to gloss over it a little bit. Also, if you hadn't a chance, be sure to check out my recent gameplay videos, which I'll put a link down below. And as always, thank you all for watching and be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Magic-y goodness.